How's it going, everybody? It's High Sights Shadow Games Report, doing part 1 of Control today. We still in control, everybody? Guess we're still in control of our own lives for the time being. For how long? Who knows? They creeping into our lives, beyond our consent. What are we gonna do? Just gonna dance it off for now. And we're gonna do about 30 minutes to an hour of news before we get into the game. I don't know much about this game. It looked cool. That's basically what I'm running off of right now. That's what I ran off of the last game that I downloaded. It was okay. It's a side scroller, talking about Replaced, the last game I played. I mean, you know, it is what it is. I kind of felt like I was playing like a Game Boy game from like, I don't know, 20 years ago. But besides that, it had a cool cyberpunk story. I think this one's kind of got like a cyberpunk-esque story as well. But anyways, enough wasting time. Let's go ahead and get into the news. Let me pause this music right here before we jam out for too long. Can't jam out for too long. Alright, Trump boasts 99% Israel popularity and Netanyahu influence amid Iran talks. Oh boy. All the wild things Trump says lately. I think he even said he would run for like the next prime minister of Israel or something crazy like that. I haven't verified that yet, but I heard that earlier, and I mean, I don't know. Hopefully I heard it wrong because I was just kind of like off doing something else while I was listening to it, and I was just like, wait, what? Did that just say what I think it said? I don't know. Maybe we'll check on that in a bit. Nancy Mace proposes amendment limiting Congress and judges to natural-born citizens. Why you would want anybody else besides a natural-born citizen in these positions, I don't know, but apparently we have some in those positions. Deciding for American citizens, laws, jail time, other things. Trump's endorsements sweep 37-0 in 6 state primaries, toppling Massey. So, a lot of people are speculating this is basically just the Israeli lobby winning 37-0. But I don't know. I mean, you make of it of what you will. I mean, I kind of I'm in the same boat with a lot of that. So I mean, I'm not really against that opinion. U.S. violent crime drops 9.3% in 2025, largest decline since 1937. Yeah, well, if all these famine projections and economic calamity end up coming true over the next few months, uh, you just kind of like start to speculate. Okay, well, you had that major drop last year. What are you going to do for this year? I don't know. Are these flock cameras actually going to be used for the right people? Are they being used for the right people? Or are we just being tracked as civilians? Lots of questions around the flock cameras as of late. I don't know. I mean, I think we should just use slingshots on these things. I mean, just my opinion. I'm not telling anybody to go out and, commit any unlawful actions, but I guess in a more perfect world where we actually responded towards surveillance tyranny more appropriately, that's what I would suggest. I don't know. I mean, unless they're actually being used for good, there's lots of speculation on both sides because I think they actually have helped track certain criminals, but, you know, how are we deciding criminals these days if half of the judges and half of the, well, I'm not going to say half the police officers, I don't know that for a fact, but I mean, I think a lot of us feel that way, at least. House passes bipartisan housing bill after stripping investor sale rule. Mic check real quick, since I had a mic problem last week. Elon Musk, SpaceX unveils filing for a blockbuster IPO. Mace unveils amendment limiting Congress, judges to natural-born citizens. Already said that. 9 deportees from U.S. arrive in Sierra Leone under third country agreement. I don't know what that means, third country. Judge refuses to postpone June 1st civil trial over deadly 2024 collapse of Baltimore Bridge. Trump tells Coast Guard graduates they will be tested in their military careers. Okay, Coast Guard graduates, they'll be tested. So, does that mean we're expecting coastal raids from other countries? Maybe Cuba? Since we are indicting one of the Castros. Is he like the actual president, or I don't know what his actual position is. I just know he's made out to be a communist and all this other stuff, like basically causing. Oh wait, here it is. Let me slow myself down. I'll get to it here in a second. Lawsuit accuses Massachusetts schools of segregating students of color in low opportunity districts. Sinkhole shuts down runway at New York LaGuardia Airport. Former Cuban president, okay, so he's the former Cuban president, Raul Castro, indicted in U.S. over 1996 fatal downing of two planes. So we're just now holding him accountable. How long? That's like 20 years ago. Literally 20 years ago. Wait, no. I'm sorry. That was 30 years ago. Shit. I'm getting old, guys. Trump-backed Ed Galrain defeats Thomas Massie in Kentucky GOP primary, marking major victory for Trump. Well, I mean, it wasn't Trump's victory, but I mean, I guess since he was the only thing that was holding up Ed Galrain, all this money, crazy amounts of money, upwards of close to, I think, $30 million being thrown at his election. Didn't even debate Thomas Massie. He just, got the endorsement, got the money, and somehow, some way. Oh yeah, and there was like 10,000 mail-in ballots that were thrown in. Um, but I mean, that's just what I've heard. I'm not saying any of that's true. I don't want to be, I'm not gonna get sued over something stupid like that. So, Senate advances bill aimed at ending Iran war as Cassidy, after primary loss, flips to support. U.S. government agrees to drop tax claims against Trump in broadening of IRS lawsuit settlement. All right, let's get into today's content. Got Brother Nathaniel talking about, I guess, the other gender spectrum of pedophilia. I mean, I kind of hate to start the show this way, but I didn't want to skip over this post because I thought it was kind of interesting in the sense that, I don't know, all this focus on male pedophilia creates this weird gap of avoiding the other half, and I think I don't know this for a fact, but I would probably say between 20 and 40% of pedophiles probably would end up in the female range. I don't know that for a fact, like I said. I'm just kind of guessing here, but kind of basing it even off of a little bit of the whole human trafficking phenomena. You start to see that there are a lot of other females involved, and they'll actually kind of bait the females in, or at least the victims. But anyways, Brother Nathaniel says Judaism teaches that a mother can't have sex with her son until he is about 8 years old. Now, he uses the broad claim of Judaism. I just want to be kind of, I don't know, hypercritical here, since there's such tension with this word right now. I think he's actually referring to Talmudic Judaism. So it's not going to be associated with Torah Jews, in my opinion. Just my opinion. So, with that, I'll continue. Judaism teaches that a mother can have sex with her son until he is about 8 years old. Well, let's go through this. Let's see what he's talking about. Sages taught in a Bareda, I guess that's how you pronounce that, if a woman was acting lewdly with her minor son and he performed the initial stage of intercourse with her, Beit Shammai say that he has thereby disqualified her from marrying into the priesthood, and Beit Hillel deem her fit to marry into the priesthood because they maintain that the intercourse of a minor is not regarded as intercourse. Sanhedrin 69b. Wait, there's a Talmud app? Is that what this is? Yeah, okay, it says the William Davidson Talmud up here at the top. If you guys can see that. Okay, just making sure. Rabbi of the Talmud agree that sex between mothers and sons is permissible as long as the son is below 8 years old because he cannot cause conception. I'm just gonna stop right there because, you know, it's just gross. But um, it's just something to kind of point out the lunacy of certain, I guess, particular groups that are running a lot of the narratives right now. I'm not saying that, you know, all Talmudic Jews are running all of the media or anything like that. I'm not even saying that all Zionists are Talmudic Jews. There's lots of separation here. That's why I'm trying to be kind of precise. But still, beyond immoral, if you ask me. I think many Christians will agree that that is just something you don't do. I can't remember the exact biblical terms, but there are quite a few Christian verses covering. They should protect the innocence of a child. You know, you shouldn't go far and beyond. And yeah, I just don't want to get gross about it. I just want to move on. Trump did not go to China to negotiate. He went to size up Xi Jinping in person. That is the read that makes the most sense once you actually look at what came out of Beijing trip from Mario Nawfal. Almost nothing on substance. Some soybean purchases, a few Boeing aircraft orders, and that was it on the big ticket items. No movement on Taiwan, no breakthrough on trade, no shift on Russia. What Trump did was far more valuable, a private face-to-face read on Xi's physical condition, mental sharpness, and political grip inside the party. The kind of intelligence you cannot pull from cables or satellite imagery. In a multipolar world where Xi's health and internal standing are open questions, that is the deal. There are also some people saying that he was using Xi as a bodyguard or something. I don't know. I'm trying to remember who said that, but there were some people speculating stuff like that. And there's so many weird theories right now. It's really hard to even come up with anything close to the truth. What might be the truth. Anyways, I digress. Trump was just briefed on the circle of death. This is from Lindsey Graham, I believe. Jesse Walters covering it.
Fox News alert: the president's just issued a final warning to Iran, saying the clock is ticking and the regime knows what's going to be happening soon. Sources tell Axios this: it's time for the Iranians to throw a bit of candy out. We need some real sturdy and granular conversation. If that's not going to happen, we will have a conversation through bombs, which will be a shame. In less than 24 hours, the president will be meeting with his national security team inside the Situation Room to review war plans. Generals say we're on the brink.
The president has exhibited a huge amount of patience here since the ceasefire on April 8th. And we've tried to work a deal with these guys, and it just doesn't seem possible. And where we are, we're on the cusp of going back into military operations. When we stopped Bill and Dana, we had 2 weeks to go, a little less than 30% of the targets. Those targets remain, but we have better intelligence now after these 5-6 weeks. So that target list is expanded. It's considerably more comprehensive.
The Iranians sent a new proposal late Sunday night, but it was only token improvements from the last offer. You know, the same one that the president ripped up after reading just the first sentence. The White House told the Iranians thanks, but no thanks. According to sources, the pressure's on them to be responsive in the right way. But they haven't been showing us the right signs. This weekend, Iranian drones hit a nuke plant in the UAE. These people are lunatics. The president told Fortune, quote, they scream all the time. I can tell you one thing. They're dying to sign a deal. But they make a deal, and then they send you a paper that has no relationship to the deal you made. I say, are you people crazy? Now, despite that, the president's giving them one last chance to have a come-to-Allah moment. Just moments ago, POTUS told Pete to take his finger off the trigger.
We were getting ready to do a very major attack tomorrow. I put it off for a little while, hopefully maybe forever, but possibly for a little while, because we've had very big discussions with Iran, and we'll see what they amount to. I was asked by Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, and some others if we could put it off for 2 or 3 days, a short period of time, because they think that they are getting very close to making a deal. And if we can do that, where there's no nuclear weapon going into the hands of Iran, I think, and if they're satisfied, we will be probably satisfied also.
The president has firm demands. Hand over the uranium, and then and only then will Iran get any relief. If the Iranians can't agree, the president has instructed the Pentagon to be prepared to go forward with a full, large-scale assault of Iran, which could come on a moment's notice. There could be another option: the circle of death.
Wants to get the nuclear dust. There's another way to do it. I talked to him about it yesterday. Draw a circle around where we know it's at. Call it the circle of death. Anybody goes inside the circle is going to die until we can find a way to deal with this. The goal is to make sure they can't retreat it. They can't make a dirty bomb. They can't further enrich. Their enrichment capability has been obliterated at least for a couple of years.
The circle of death freezes their nuke program, but it doesn't open the strait. Carg Island's gone 10 days without loading up a single tanker. They're maxed out, and the wall of steel's holding strong. 85 ships have been turned around. Blockade runners aren't even trying anymore.
We now have a tremendous, we built a really steel wall where no boats are blockade, where no boats are able to, not one boat has been able to get through our blockade. Look, our military is the greatest military anywhere in the world. I just left China, and I will say President Xi was very, very complimentary of our military.
Besson went to France to tell our allied banks to blackball the mullahs.
We call upon all our G7 and indeed all of our allies and the rest of the world to follow the sanctions regime so that we can crack down on the illicit finance that is fueling the Iranian war machine and get this money back to the Iranian people.
It's not just the Iranians who are feeling the pressure from the blockade. It's also the Chinese. Beijing just announced their economy is in a little bit of a slowdown. Spending just hit a 4-year low, and investment in real estate are deteriorating. One analyst says, quote, the oil shock has now arrived, and it's hitting the economy harder than expected. And China's declared the frozen straits created severe conditions and are now saying publicly it needs to reopen. Everyone's getting squeezed. U.S. Treasury yields are almost at a 20-year high. That's a warning sign. This summer, there's going to be an energy crunch. We'll be all blasting our air conditioning and driving and flying to vacation. Basically, it's supply and demand at this point, and it's going to push prices higher. The president knows Americans are facing an energy shock, so he's giving peace a chance. But if the gay Ayatollah stays persnickety, 47's ready for a love tap. According to him, could be before Memorial Day. One way or the other, the street's bullish on the U.S. military getting the job done.
Does the Strait of Hormuz need to reopen all this at any cost?
They will eventually reopen. I don't know. You're talking about the military been playing like this for 40 years. They have plans. I don't know what the plans are. And I hope it works. I just don't know.
The private sector could be stepping up, too. The Wall Street Journal reports that the administration could break the stalemate by authorizing privateers to attack enemy shipping. So if you're looking for a summer job and have a sense of adventure, ahoy. And defense companies are already stepping up to the plate, deploying robo-mine hunters to the Gulf with next-generation sonar technology, clearing a wider and wider route for when the president hopefully restarts Project Freedom. And the Brits are letting us play with their toys. The Royal Navy sending us Sea Fox drones and Kraken catfish and needlefish vessels to detect and destroy mines by remote control. On top of that, POTUS is making sure our oil supplies loaded up. Oil majors like Exxon and Shell are returning to Alaska, saying the state is the world's hottest play. They say, quote, once you know what you're looking for, it's like finding balls on a dog. Doug Burgum's rocking a hard hat, and he's ready to drill, baby, drill.
Japan, our great ally, we have close to 50,000 troops there. 92% of Japan's oil is coming through the Strait of Hormuz. South Korea, we have 28,000 troops, a bunch of their dependents on the Middle East. They all want to buy more energy from Alaska. So the long-term geopolitical function and role of Alaska is immense. And of course, with President Trump, this is the biggest geopolitical shift we've seen in anyone's lifetime, away from the Middle East and moving towards the Western Hemisphere.
It takes the Japanese 35 days to get oil from the Strait of Hormuz from Alaska. It takes them 8. And there's no pirates in the North Pacific. The president is asking for patience, but says no pain, no gain. He can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Jamie Dimon said the enemy had it coming.
They've been raping, killing, and murdering for 47 years. Why the Western world allowed proxy wars? I mean, we learned a lesson. Now, we should have gone years ago at the head of the snake. We should have killed the head of the snake.
The president swore not to let problems fester for the next commander-in-chief. Over the weekend, U.S. Africa Command struck and killed a top ISIS leader hiding out in Nigeria. The United States goes where the enemy goes. And when we put in the work, we deserve some R&R. The USS Ford just came home from a record-setting deployment from the Maduro raid to Iran. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth was there to greet the soldiers.
Exception. That's why I was proud to give the president a citation to them for their 330-day deployment all the way around the globe. Absolute resolve, epic fury. It's an incredible story. The only story that should be told today is of the heroism and the skill and the professionalism of these sailors.
We'd like all the boys home soon, but we understand they have a job to do. Sometimes it feels like your job is full of meetings, meeting after meeting after meeting that don't go anywhere. And then you hear you're about to go back to work, and you get called into another meeting. But maybe the president's 2 to 3 day delay is another famous head fake, kind of to launch a surprise attack. We have no idea. Like usual, we'll see what happens.
Trump boasts 99% Israel popularity and Netanyahu influence amid Iran talks. Before heading to the U.S. Coast Guard Academy at commencement on Wednesday, Trump claimed a recent poll showed him at 99% approval in Israel, adding he'd consider running for prime minister. He called Benjamin Netanyahu a great guy who would do whatever I want on Iran. Following their overnight phone call amid stalled U.S.-Iran nuclear talks and Strait of Hormuz tensions, no public poll matches the 99% figure, though Trump highlighted his past pro-Israel moves like the Abraham Accords, as Netanyahu faces domestic pressure from a potential early election in Israel. I don't think anybody believes that he would actually get I don't know. We've seen crazier things with Trump, but I don't think we'd actually, see him as the prime minister in Israel. I mean, obviously, it seems like Americans can become Israelis, but I don't know. I mean, don't you have to be Jewish? I have no clue. No clue. It might be the only way to save him, or save Netanyahu, is what I mean. Maybe even save Trump. Might be the only way that Trump can get out of certain things once Democrats seemingly take over, unless, I don't know, lots of speculation that Republicans are stealing the races as well. I've been, beating that drum a lot lately. I'm like, okay, well, if it is the uniparty, that means they work together, and that means they steal elections together. That means they pick whichever side wants to win every single election, and they still work together. That's why there's no real major push from the Democrats to really get rid of Trump, in my opinion. I've seen things here and there about the 25th Amendment, but I don't see anything serious about it. But anyways. Is this the, yeah, I guess this is the clip. I want the longer clip. We don't get any longer clips. We just get a 13-second clip. Are you kidding me? Give me a longer clip. I do kind of want to see what this clip is, but I'll come to that in a second. 24 seconds. That's all we get. It's a little bit longer.
I'm right now
Double the
at
time.
99% in Israel. I could run for prime minister, so maybe after I do this, I'll go to Israel, run for prime minister. I had a poll this morning. I'm 99%, so that's good. But
He sounds so slow.
No, he's a wartime prime minister.
So tired
I just
now.
don't think they treat him well. I think they have a president over there that treats him very poorly. I'm right now.
I want to watch this too real quick. The heroes of the United States Coast Guard have lived by a creed of honor.
Through every generation, the heroes of the United States Coast Guard have lived by a creed of honor and bravery and sacrifice that have defied every storm, shipwreck, and every single enemy attack. In the hour of need, our Coast Guardsmen have brought hope to the hopeless and swept the
Defied every
innocent
storm,
from the
he
jaws
says.
of a raging sea, seas like nobody's ever seen before in some cases. Coast Guard warriors piloted the famous Higgins boats and delivered American liberation to beaches of Normandy and sailed through smoke and flame and gunfire to put the Marines and the Guadalcanal very much into play, and they patrolled the distant shores of Manila Bay and Mekong Delta and the Red Sea, and they patrolled them like nobody has ever been able to patrol them before or since. For decades, the men and women of this noble service have repeated an unofficial motto of pure, unyielding courage. It says, you have to go out, but you don't have to come back. That's a statement. You have to go, I think of that, you have to go out, but you don't have to go back. And you know what that means? That
Doesn't
means
sound like a
danger.
good message.
And it's a statement that you live by.
I don't know if I like that statement. Anyways, moving on.
Must be some pay dirt. Where there's smoke, there's fire, is an old American saying. And so we started looking for the fire that was creating the smoke. And we found that on several farms across Texas, we found families that were the descendants of the people that originally owned the farm. And the people still living there were the children that were alive the day this happened. And then we found 3 adult witnesses that were in about 90 years old, in that range, that were still very alert, very intelligent, very coherent in their descriptions, that told us separately, each one of them, exactly what they said happened. And it was patterned right after the newspaper reports, of course. We had one lady who said, you want to know where the little guy is buried? And we said, well, of course. And she told us the cemetery, the location to look in the cemetery, and the kind of stone that would be marking the grave. And in going there with the team, we found the stone. And it had an engravure in it that looked like someone took a chisel and came up with an oblong device that supposedly was to look like the thing the little guy was flying. The story went that they buried the little man at noon. And they gave him a Christian burial because they didn't know what his religion was. That's just kind of funny. But along with him, they supposedly put a chunk of the metal from his craft because that was his only belongings that they put into his grave with him. We found a treasure hunter in Texas that had very sophisticated gear. He could detect a piece of metal at 4 feet in the ground instead of the normal kind where you find the pennies on the beach, you know. And this man then lent his assistance and went over the area, looking at the pattern that the people reported, where the metal was strewn around. And he found that there were great chunks of metal under the dirt surface against the bedrock. And we had some of those dug up and sent to laboratories and found that the metal was absolutely pure aluminum. No trace elements in it, such as you find in the refining processes of aluminum today. And
in other words, we'd have a hard time making it.
We would have a difficult time making it. That is correct. There were traces of iron in suspension, and in some areas that ran up to an inclusion of iron of about 5%. It's generally impossible to put 5% iron in solution in aluminum. Therefore, we had some evidence then that something strange had happened there. Then we took the equipment to the grave site, the metal detecting equipment, and found that, sure enough, the same sort of signal that was gained from the iron at the crash site was also gained from the site in the grave. And then asking for permission to exhume the body and take a look and see if this really was a little critter, or if it was just a story, if it was a John Doe down the street that was buried in the grave, we ran into obstructions.
From who?
The cemetery committee would not allow it to happen. They've got a court order to stop it while we try to get a court order to force it. And they put a guard on the gate. Now, recognize this cemetery has a metal fence around it with spikes on top to prevent people from climbing out, I guess. I'm not sure why else. But and they put a guard on the gate with a shotgun and said, don't let any of those UFO hunters into our cemetery. While all this is going on, strange as could be, the marker on the grave disappeared. And this rock was in excess of 150 pounds. Someone did just come out and pick it up in their hands and take it home as a souvenir.
So in other words, you think the city officials probably just
City officials probably got rid of it.
Well, you remember
And
the
also,
location, do you? I mean,
we remember the location. We went back with the, finally got in the cemetery again, went back with the metal went back with the metal detecting gear to try to verify the exact site several weeks later when we finally got in.
And sure enough, they'd done more than just taking the stone. The metal was missing. There was a hole in the ground, and the metal was gone.
But who took it?
Someone core drilled it with a core right down to it, removed the metal, and drove away. And therefore, we could no longer prove that this very strange metal at the crash site was the same as the metal in the grave.
You just
the evidence was just destroyed.
Did you just say something about this in the American press a couple weeks ago?
Yes, I did. I did a more or less a technical write-up on the material itself. I didn't say much about the background of what happened to the grave site and the metal and the problems with the people and all. I mainly put together an article that showed that there was a strange piece of material that I thought merited scientific evaluation. And hopefully to get someone to come forward and say, if I had that piece of metal, this is how I would have made it and this is what I would do with it. And so far that hasn't happened, but it was published in a New York newspaper a week before I came to Australia, so I probably haven't had time to be communicated with.
Don't you find it's a bit of a hard role to have?
You saw what happened in Kentucky. I said last week when he was 20 points ahead, Massey in Polymarket, and a lot of the polls 10 points ahead, I said he needs about 10 points to override baked-in fraud. And then yesterday when Fuentes was on in the first hour, and we'll find the clip, I said, I got a bad feeling. My feelings are pretty much never wrong. When I saw Hegseth the night before, so confident, and just the body language and all of it, I knew that when you got the Pentagon campaigning against you for the first time ever in U.S. history, they're not going to be embarrassed. They're not going to, on something like that, have a defeat. I knew right then the fix was in. Never, and I've looked it up, never has a defense secretary gone around and campaigned. We elect people, they fund the military follows the president's order. You don't run around as Secretary of Defense speaking out against elected representatives and campaigning against them. This is the military directly involved in our politics, not as the CIA running all these Navy SEALs. So this is so dangerous and so wrong, and that's why when I saw that, I said, that's it. Whatever they got to do, he's not winning tonight, in my view, barring a miracle. Or if he does win, they're going to kill him. There are major anomalies that are just astronomical for this to be organic. And then one of the articles that gets into some of this is up on AlexJonesLive.com. Nobody's buying Massey's election loss. AIPAC-funded opponent increased voter turnout by 357% compared to any other Kentucky Republican primary ever. That's right. Now, you think about that. And then all this other stuff and mail-in ballots that came in last minute and the rest of it.
What you initially said about the Masons. So we're about 100 feet from Masonic Lodge. They're all over rural America. They're kind of a vestige of the past. This is how I think of them. A bunch of elderly guys with ceremonial swords.
Yeah, I have one.
You have one. I have one right over there from that lodge. You don't think of them as a threat or even a meaningful player in current events. But then I should say I don't know much about it.
Yeah.
I don't. So really at all. You joined the Masons. Why did you do that, and what was it like?
So it was a journey of initiation. I think that I was going through at that time, right out of college, because my college years started getting deep into studying history, and even in the Procopius was writing the history of Justinian, right, the Roman emperor, Byzantine emperor, and he described him as a shape-shifting demon, basically, in that book, in the Secret History, and that was buried for a long time. And again, there's all types of histories. King James was it James's Bible, but he also wrote a demonology book, right? I mean, this was the way that the world was perceived and understood for centuries, as we know.
As a battleground between dark and light.
Yeah, I mean, as forces that were unseen. I mean, Socrates talked about his daemon, like his what people call genius, but they say like in the old world, there's a theory that when Homer's writing about the Iliad and about all these different gods having play in human life, a lot of people believe that we were in communication more readily with beings, right, unseen beings, and it may have been a real factor in our consciousness back then. And then we obviously we get to this place of the Enlightenment when all that becomes relegated, and we say, oh, that's all hocus pocus and not real. We can only focus on the physical realm. But you can't understand how life begins through the physical realm alone. You can't understand how the universe is formed.
No,
right? I mean, how does the Big Bang start? It just happens. Okay,
spontaneous.
Time travel. I mean, how does it happen? How does it actually begin? Exactly from what? And how does life begin? So I think a lot of the materialists actually, you could say, like, people say Darwin and whatnot, are essentially serving the dark side because they're saying there's nothing outside the material realm. This is all that exists, and everything. Well, actually, all we're interfacing with is our own minds, our own perceptions. And so when they want us to believe, a very simplified version of reality, spontaneous evolution, random changes, right? Take away anything spiritual. I think that serves the dark side in a sense, because it elevates our own egos. It makes us, we're the progenitors of this, and we are the greatest thing in the universe. And we can get into that later, but that then serves the transhuman agenda that it's all about perfecting ourselves through the physical plane of genetics, right? Genetic tampering and whatnot. And you try to basically take the spiritual origin impulse of God creating this universe out of the story, right? That's what the Enlightenment did in many ways. But you can't take it out because we instinctively, as souls that we are in human form, we have this curiosity and this desire to know, okay, where did I come from? Like, it can't, my soul didn't just spontaneously appear. How do I have consciousness? Where does consciousness originate from? Just from our brains? Well, I think we're understanding that our brains are more receivers, almost like computers that can receive the internet that's around us, right? That's the way that we function more in that way, and that's why people have near-death experiences, or they have out-of-body experiences, and the CIA does this kind of stuff, astral projection, and they can see things outside of their physical body that you can't say, well, your brain knew it. You have all kinds of cases and stories of this. People, who are literally on the hospital bed and they can perceive things in the next room. So consciousness transcends our brain, right? And that indicates, again, a spiritual reality that a lot of mainstream science wants us to ignore. But I was like looking at history and saying, no, we've always had this impulse to see a spiritual reality, or what Plato calls like the ideational realm, the world of ideals, before we get to the material realm. So let's not try to ignore that.
guess one major question I always have is, like, how do people actually remote view, you know? Like, there's no actual real science behind it. We just, I don't know, somehow, some way people can just do it, and then we never explain how. It's just really annoying, you know? Those weird things like that you can just never explain. You're just like, well, that should be, like, a major red flag. It's like an error in the Matrix. Hello? Trump backs Spencer Pratt in LA mayor race amid rigged vote claims. I'm not going to read all that. Michael Schellenberger, or Schillenberger, I like to call him sometimes, says, I am not MAGA or anything, but the city's kind of gone to shit, right? Another banger from, what does that say? D. Sunoki for Spencer Pratt.
This mayor race is really heating up. Who you guys voting for? Haven't decided? Same, haven't really been following it. Same.
Seems like
Same.
AI.
I'm not MAGA or anything. But the city's kind of gone to shit though, right? Oh yeah. Just
Okay, I'm not watching any more of this. That looks like AI or, I don't know, highly scripted shit. I think it's AI, though. That looks like AI. Oh, boy. Alright, I'm moving on. I'm not even going to cover the rest of that. Let's get to, let's hit it from both sides. How about that? Okay, so I guess this is Spencer Pratt. I don't know much about him. Let's go. President Trump is getting behind Spencer Pratt in California. I'd like to see him do well. He's a character. But you have a really rigged vote in California. You have all the mail-in ballots. Very hard to win because in elections...
Roland True, Mr. Pratt, do you see yourself in him at all? A former reality TV star?
No, I'd like to see him do well. He's a character. I don't know him. I assume he probably supports me. Does he support me?
I think so.
I think so, yeah. I heard he does. I heard he's a big MAGA person. He's doing well. I don't know. If you have a rigged vote out there, that's the problem. The votes are rigged. You have a really rigged vote in California. You have all the mail-in ballots, everything else. Very hard to win because the elections are very dishonest. If we had Jesus Christ come down and count the votes, I would have won California because I do great with Hispanics. But it's a rigged vote. They sent out 38 million votes. Nobody knows where they're going. Of course, the Democrats do, I guess. But disproportionately, Democrats get many more votes. Some get 8 votes.
Anyways, I don't care about that. Rob Schneider says, Dear Bill Maher, I am waiting for your apology for yelling at me on your podcast about the January 6th insurrection. It turns out to be an inside job with 26 FBI confidential human sources.
Fox News alert, the Justice Department just released the bombshell report that we've been waiting for. What actually happened on January 6th? The FBI had 26 confidential human sources there that day. 26. A confidential human source is a guy the FBI pays to spy for them. Of the 26 confidential human sources who were in D.C. on Jan 6, 4 entered the Capitol during the riot. An additional 13 entered the restricted area around the Capitol. So more than a dozen FBI spies participated in the so-called insurrection. A bunch of them broke into the Capitol. Their own inspector general says this is what happened. But that's not what they told you when they testified under oath.
Those who were there in an undercover capacity on January 6th, how many were there? Again, I'm not sure that I can give you that number as I sit here. I'm not sure there were undercover agents on scene. I thought I heard you say you didn't know whether there were FBI agents or informants or human sources in the Capitol or in the vicinity on January 6th. Did I misunderstand you? I thought that's what you said.
I referred very specifically to undercover agents.
Yeah. And so are you acknowledging then there were undercover agents?
As I sit here right now, I do not believe there were undercover agents on scene.
The inspector was hiding something, so Congress asked the question a different way. Listen.
Did you have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters inside the Capitol on January 6th prior to the doors being open?
Again, I have to be very careful.
It should be a no. Can you not tell the American people no? We did not have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters positioned inside the Capitol.
Gentleman's time has expired. You should not read anything into my decision not to share information. Confidential.
Gentleman's time.
Ray's right. The FBI didn't have undercover agents at January 6th. They had confidential human sources. So what's the difference? Well, a confidential human source doesn't get health insurance or a pension. They're just freelancing for the feds. Rats in MAGA hats. They're basically paid informants that the FBI runs out at headquarters. A lot of these FBI rats get picked up on some other charge. They get sat down and the FBI says, you're going to work for me now. And if you don't, you're looking at 20 years to life. So these guys say, yes, sir. And they cozy up to people like the Proud Boys and anyone the feds wants to watch and control from the inside. And these confidential human sources are under pressure to deliver. What does deliver mean? It means intelligence and big busts that get the FBI good headlines. According to the Inspector General report, the spies were feeding the FBI intel that said January 6th was going to get a little hairy. But FBI headquarters did nothing about it and then lied to Congress and said they did. So why did headquarters let January 6th get so out of hand? And what were all these FBI spies doing that day and the days before? Were they riling everyone up like they did in the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot? In that case, the FBI informants instigated the plot. They even used an FBI credit card to buy the ammo, supplies, and hotel rooms. Did the FBI pay for Jan 6 hotel rooms? We don't know. Remember, the media and the Democrats said this whole thing was a conspiracy.
Where do you think this idea
Okay, I'm just kind of drained on the whole January 6th stuff. It's just such an old story now. It's 6 years old. Just tired of hearing about it. Kind of just wish something would actually, someone would get arrested over it or something. Just something to move on or feel better about. 6 years into it later. McGregor's war update. This is from, I think, yesterday or maybe the day before.
I think right now, if you look objectively at all the indications of military action, what we've got out there in terms of air and naval power, and even now substantial light forces, light ground forces, I would say that the renewed war is a certainty. I would expect it to happen anytime. I think we're going to go back into the same war we were in before. I think he's going to go in probably with more force than he did previously. I'm sure that's what the general officers are promising him and the admirals are telling him. What was the definition of insanity that Einstein used to offer?
Doing the same thing and expecting different results.
Yeah, and I think that's where we are. Now, the other thing that nobody's considering is the possibility that Iran, whose forces are now resupplied, replenished, and so forth, may reveal some new capabilities we haven't encountered yet. That's a possibility. We don't exactly know with great precision everything that the Russians and the Chinese have provided to them, and we do admit privately that we grossly underestimated the engineering skills of the Iranians. So this could turn out to be a lot worse on both sides than it was the last time. I think that's very much a certainty.
And I'm just curious about the Middle East partnership of all of this, and on the United States side, but more specifically on the attacks that would come from Iran. The idea that Iran would, frankly, devastate the UAE, really wipe Dubai off the map for all intents and purposes, hitting, again, energy infrastructure, desalinization. Like, the list is pretty extensive, what they would hit, rendering that country basically useless. Does President Trump seem to care about that?
Well, as I said before, I think that's a tertiary concern as far as he's concerned. And I think in private, the leadership of the UAE is probably cheering him on, despite what you just described as a likely outcome. Let me explain that. I think people need to understand that the UAE is very much a Trojan horse for Israeli and American power and influence. And it has been a thorn in the side of Iran for a very long time. If you're an Iranian, you very much welcome the opportunity to annihilate this platform for the projection of power against you. So the UAE will definitely be struck, and most of it will be flattened or destroyed. Now, I don't know where all the money goes. It's probably sitting in New York City, London, other places. But you're right. The majority of the population, I think we had at the beginning of the war, an estimated 67 million people living from Iraq's border on the west coast of the Persian Gulf all the way down to Oman. I don't think there's half of that left at this point. And I think more will leave. They'll bundle up in their automobiles or SUVs. They'll drive across the desert to Riyadh. And from Riyadh, you can get an aircraft flight to various places. So I think that's inevitable. And I think President Trump has really played the media for suckers. How many times has he manipulated the stock market and investors? And most investors really believe that one of two things is going to happen. Either Trump tacos, as they like to say, chickens out, leaves, or Trump doubles down and crushes Iran. And when you talk to people, they say, oh, well, the Marines and the Navy, they'll seize the strait. They'll march in. They'll take all this over. This won't last much longer. They have no idea what the topography is like. They don't understand what they're dealing with. They don't understand the climate, the conditions. They absolutely have no idea what kind of capabilities we're up against, particularly in air and missile defense. So at this stage, I'd say yes, we're going to see the war restart. It'll probably last as long as the last phase did. And I see no evidence that the Iranians are going to do anything remotely along the lines of what President Trump expects or would like.
So I thought this was kind of interesting. President Trump just cut off illegal aliens from America's financial system. This is from Rip Mary Miller. I'll read that again. District of Illinois. No welfare, no benefits, no banking. No reason to stay. Expect mass deportations to follow. It's kind of a big statement. It's got 250,000 people seeing this post, so it's kind of like some big claims, if you ask me. Washington is offering $15 million to anyone who can expose how the IRGC moves its money, crypto accounts, front companies, shell custodians, the State Department's Rewards for Justice program. Once names, wallets, and networks, they're offering relocation on top of the cash. Sanctions alone didn't work. So now the U.S. is crowdsourcing the intelligence and paying serious money for it. Interesting. J.D. Vance says Ilhan Omar could be arrested for fraud very soon.
You read the things about Ilhan Omar and about, who she married and whether she didn't marry this person or that person. It certainly seems like something fishy is there, but everybody's entitled to equal justice under the laws. So we're going to investigate it. We're going to take a look at it. If we think that there's a crime, we're going to prosecute that crime. You read the things about Ilhan Omar.
So he didn't exactly say that, but it was kind of close. Adam Rossi says North Carolina sourced the largest manufacturing investment in the state's history at $4.6 billion. Jez Zero is breaking ground on the first greenfield large aircraft production facility built in the United States in a generation. So we get futuristic aircraft now. Looks pretty cool, right? Making our factories look fancy from above. It's always nice, I guess. Guess if you take lots of flights and you want to see fancy factories from above. President Trump showcases what is being built deep underground beneath his ballroom, including military hospital, advanced research facilities, and secret military rooms.
I want to take a look at the complexity. These are all different rooms down here. They're building a hospital. They're building, it's a military hospital. They're building all sorts of research facilities, also meeting rooms and rooms that go hand in hand for the military, using the ballroom. And the ballroom is really a shield and protecting all of the things that are built here. This goes, as you see, it's already up to the ground. This goes down very deep. You get a better view right over here. This is down because we've already done these floors. But these are already down 2 floors. That is down about 6 stories deep. That's big stuff. Normally, when you build a ballroom, you build it flat. You just build a ballroom. It would have been built. The complexity of this, and again, it's all knit. It's all knit together between the drone proofing, the missile proofing, we have, and the drone capacity upstairs. We can have all sorts of military up, whether, I hate to use the word snipers, but we have great sniper capacity. It's built for our snipers, not the enemy snipers, our snipers. And because of the height, we get a very clear view of everything all over Washington. Yeah.
Elon Musk says truth via humor. Babylon B says conservative primary voters excited to choose which politician will betray them next. Yeah. And we got 4 to 26 alien species being named off by certain CIA agents, former CIA, I should say. But before I read that, I'm going to go read this real quick. Rep. Nancy Mace says, if I were not born in America, you should not hold power in our government. End of story. She's throwing up a bill trying to get rid of Ilhan Omar and get certain non-citizens, or non-natives, I should say. Trump, on the remainder of his presidency, are going to end up saying he is the greatest president that ever lived. That ever lived. Whew, that statement makes me dizzy right now. I swear, man, if there's one thing Trump is good at, it's making everybody dizzy. Right? I feel like that's a polite way of saying it. President Trump just dropped a massive confidence bomb, and it's going to age like fine wine, says Gunther Eagleman. He's a big Trump supporter, though.
I mean, you're going to see things that are amazing. You're going to see a lot of amazing things over the next 3 years for our country. And I'd like to talk more about the economic, because we have $18 trillion being spent, and no country's ever had anything like that. We have car plants pouring in from Mexico, Canada. They don't want to be there. There's no reason to be there because they want to sell to our market. We have car companies and plants coming in from Germany, from South Korea, from Japan, coming in by the billions, and they're being built now. You're going to see things that nobody thought was possible.
Mr. President,
You're going to end up saying he's the greatest president that ever lived. Goodbye, everybody.
James Comey over the weekend, Mr. President.
I mean, you're going to see things that are amazing. You're going to see a lot of amazing things over the next 3 years for our country. And I'd like to talk more about the economic because we have
We're going to get free energy from the aliens. Makes you kind of wonder. I don't know. It is kind of strange with all these data centers being built everywhere, with all the talk of aliens being revealed. I mean, I don't know. It's almost like, are we still in control? Do we still have control? I don't know. I feel like I have to ask these questions because, well, a lot of things are happening that we didn't really ask for. I mean, yeah, I guess everybody kind of wanted alien disclosure, but I don't know. It comes at a weird time. During the middle of a war now, at least a projected war. Sometimes I kind of even wonder, like, are we even in a war? I even saw that gas dropped below $100 a barrel today, which I thought that was kind of interesting. We'll get to that in a second. That's from the Kobasi letter, just in case you're curious on where I got that from. I feel like that's a pretty reputable source, but I don't know. Maybe some people don't trust it. Very, very big, interesting claims from Trump, though. Oh, here it is right here. Okay. U.S. oil prices extend losses, falling below $97 per barrel after President Trump says the U.S. is in final stages of a peace deal with Iran. So, is that just to play with the market again? It's kind of crazy. It fell below $100 a barrel. I thought we were talking about going up to $150 a barrel. I don't know. Maybe sometimes I have to ask myself, I'm like, am I overreacting to certain information, or maybe is it propaganda from certain countries, maybe? Like, sometimes I even wonder, are we being propagandized from the British? That's kind of what the Promethean Action people like to talk about quite a bit. I cover their videos on and off. But they like to speculate a lot of the British propaganda is actually what's pushing, I guess, some of the Democrat side, or even parts of, I guess, anti-Trump type rhetoric, or even trying to make the war look worse than it really is. But anyways, I digress. $97 a barrel. That's, I mean, you know, I hate to take small wins, but, you know, anything right now is good. I didn't go out to town today, so I don't know what the gas prices are at the moment. They did shoot up to about $4.30 in my area for the past few days. But like I said, I didn't see what they were today. I didn't feel like driving. I was just, I don't know, man. Sometimes you just like, I don't know, you get mad from like seeing all this bad news all the time. Oh, speaking of bad news, U.S. official report says 42 American aircraft lost in Iran war. Wow. That's a pretty high number if you ask me. I mean, I'm sure most of the pilots survived, but at the same time, it just makes you kind of wonder, like, wow, if we lost that many aircraft, makes Iran a pretty formidable foe. I hate to respect my enemy too much. I'm not trying to fend for the other side. I'm not pro-Iranian at all. I guess in some senses I was kind of rooting for Iran against Israel, but that's just because Israel's just so, I don't know, it's almost like they want global domination. It's almost like they want entire Middle Eastern regional control. It's almost like they even say it. It's almost like they even have a project for it called the Greater Israel Project, just in case you're curious. All right, Congress Research Service, around 42 U.S. aircraft were lost or damaged during the war with Iran. I feel like at least 2 were F-35s. I don't know if there were any more than that, but that's what we know about at least. that were hit. Of course, other aircraft as well, but just talking about some of the heavy hitters. No one expected for the F-35s to get hit. Alright, on to the aliens. A former CIA-funded quantum physicist and Pentagon advisor has dropped a bombshell, sending shockwaves through the scientific and intelligence communities. Dr. Hal Puthoff, 89, stated on a major podcast that insiders involved in crash recoveries have confirmed at least 4 distinct extraterrestrial species, all humanoid in form. These include the classic greys, tall Nordics, scaly reptilians, and insect-like mantids. End Times headlines. So I guess this is them. Mantis. So I guess Nordics and reptilians. So I guess reptilians are between 6 and 8 feet tall. Nordics are about 7.5 feet tall, or 6 to 7.5 feet. Then we got greys, they're about 45 feet. Mantis, 6 to 7 feet. Why is everybody taller than us? Like, we're like in between, like somewhere in here. We're like a little bit below 6 feet, around 6 feet. Some people are hitting 7 feet, but I don't know. You could be a totally different alien race for all I know. Humans, we around 6 feet. Okay? We 5 to 6 feet, somewhere in there. Nords, I don't know, man. Sometimes I wonder, I'm just like, did the greys make you to like just look human? Makes me kind of wonder. I'm just like, why do we have any alien species looking anywhere similar to Earth species? Like, let's even talk about the reptilians. Are they from Earth? Are they from a different planet? I've heard of like Draconian or Draco, planet Draco or something like that before. Greys are from a different planet. I mean, they kind of make more sense though. Some people say that greys are like future humans though. I have no clue. Mantis, I mean, they look like a praying mantis. I mean, they all look like Skyrim characters, let's be honest. I mean, I literally play as an Argonian in Elder Scrolls. So, I mean, that literally looks like an Argonian. That almost looks like my character. Without the spacesuit, of course. Alright, moving on. U.S. military launching massive prep for round 2 against Iran.
The region, and we're getting some new video that shows U.S. refuelers parked at Tel Aviv's Ben Gurion airport, waiting in case President Trump orders new strikes against the regime. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps released a new threat overnight, warning the United States and Israel against launching another bombing campaign. The IRGC put out a statement saying if the aggression against Iran is repeated, the regional war that was promised will this time go beyond the borders of the region, and you will be dealt crushing blows in places you do not expect, and you will fall into the abyss of defeat and destruction. The threat comes as President Trump says he was just an hour away from deciding to strike Iran earlier this week, and is giving the regime a few additional days to reach a deal.
How close were you to striking Iran?
I was an hour away. We were all set to go. You're talking about yesterday.
Yes.
We were going to be striking it would have been happening right now. Yeah, it was all done. The boats, the ships are all loaded. They're loaded to the brim. And we were all set to start.
As for the possibility of an agreement, reports indicate there are still serious gaps in the positions of the United States and Iran. Vice President J.D. Vance was asked about this process yesterday.
So what we've done is try to be as clear as possible. What are our red lines? What are the things that we're willing to be accommodating on? And what are the things that we absolutely must have? And as the president has said ad nauseum, and I think I've said it a lot too, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Inside Iran, the regime has released new videos showing civilians learning how to use small arms, a variety of
I cannot wait for May 19th. It's going to be so great. You know, just in case I lose, they gave me the number to call to concede. The area code is Tel Aviv, though.
Now to the United States, that's lost 42 aircrafts, including fighter jets, MQ-9 Reaper drones in the war against Iran. This is according to the latest report. At least 42 U.S. aircrafts, including fighter jets and drones, were lost or damaged during Operation Epic Fury that was launched on the 28th of February, targeting Iran. And according to that official report, the number of aircrafts damaged or destroyed may remain subject to revision due to multiple factors, including classification, ongoing combat. This is the activity and attribution, according to that report that has now come out. Aditya Rajkal joining us in order to get us details. Aditya, this is a huge price to pay with 42 aircrafts that have in fact been damaged. Take us through the, this war is really costing a lot to not just the two countries but across the world.
Well, definitely, Divya, this is a huge piece of breaking news that we are breaking here on NDTV. This is the Congressional Research Service of the United States that provides research to the U.S. Congress. This is an official document in which it is being stated that United States has lost 42 fighter jets and drones in the Iran war. Remember, in a week from now, it will be 3 months to the war that United States and Israel started against Iran. Operation Epic Fury and Operation Roaring Lion,
which I chair, dealing with the IRS. And providing better service. Hey everybody, Tim Burchett just left the DOGE committee, which I chair, dealing with the IRS, and providing better service, making it more fair and equitable for everybody. It's funny, a lot of people wanted to get on this committee. I didn't see them today. It seemed like it's a very timely issue, but the chair lady and I are not. As I told her, I said we ought to pick a fight with each other and dare each other to go out in the parking lot so we could settle it out there. Maybe we could get the press covering this stuff. But we're going to propose some more legislation dealing with some constituent issues I've had dealing with the IRS to fix some problems and not make it worse. You got to start somewhere, and this is where we start. I doubt this will get the ratings. Hey, dude. Good, brother. I doubt this is going to get the press that a lot of the stuff we do. But it's sure as heck is needed, and people are really frustrated with the IRS. It can take me months to get a response sometimes from them for a constituent. So I can't imagine what somebody calling it.
Anyways, Michael Bay to direct a movie about the U.S.-Iran conflict based on the true rescue mission to save 2 downed airmen per deadline. A lot of speculation whether that actually happened or not, though. So, it definitely seems like a movie plot. Want to hear the worst pre-Memorial Day message, says Paul Rieckhoff. He's a Ukraine supporter, so he might be a Ukrainian for all I know. He kind of has that name, doesn't he? Let's see, what is this? Trump, we lost 13 people. In other wars, you lost hundreds of thousands of people. I get a kick. He's acting like the war's over. Like, he's still talking about, like, doing another attack, and he's acting like the war's been over for, like, a week or 2 now. It's not over. Nothing ended. We still got the blockade. I assume. Did we pull out? I don't remember hearing that we pulled out unless... I do remember hearing that we moved one of our aircraft carrier units to, I think, around Cuba. But that's just because we're actually going to probably pick up Raul Castro here soon. At least allegedly. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what they were saying.
You lost hundreds of thousands of soldiers in these various wars. In 2 wars, Venezuela, where we lost nobody, and here, we lost 13 people. Now, 13 people is 13 too much, but we lost 13 people. In other wars, you lost hundreds of thousands of people. So people don't like it when you say, oh, do you know you've lost 13? We lost in 2 major wars. We took over Venezuela. We essentially took over Iran, and we've lost so far 13 people. Somebody else would have lost 100,000 people, okay? But I get a kick when I look at somebody on television. He's lost 13 people. I lost 13 people. They lost 13 people leaving an airport. You lost hundreds of thousands of...
I don't know if there's any sound to this video. Mario Nafal reports after 8 attempts, the U.S. Senate has finally advanced the War Powers Resolution limiting military activities against Iran, passing 50 to 47. Key details: 4 Republicans crossed this aisle, or the aisle, to vote yes. Susan Collins, Bill Cassidy, Lisa Murkowski, and Rand Paul. Democrat John Fetterman broke ranks to vote against
on this
the
vote, the
resolution.
yeas are 50, the nays are 47. The motion is agreed to. The joint resolution
Where is it? Oh, down here.
is discharged and will be placed on the calendar.
That's semi-good, I guess. Restrict Trump a little bit. Alright, let's get away from this Michael Bay stuff. It's that same report. Elon Musk, SpaceX officially files for IPO under ticket. SpaceX. Anthropic has agreed to pay SpaceX $1.25 billion per month through May 2029 for AI compute capacity, with capacity ramping in May and June 2026.
On this vote, the yeas are 50, the nays are 47. The motion is agreed to. The joint resolution is discharged.
That was still playing. The Ark of the Covenant is not in Ethiopia?
This is around the same time of the pyramids as well. We're talking about a civilization, a society, a people that did things in a way that we do not understand today because it's forgotten knowledge. But what's interesting over here, when it comes to understanding its location as well, which is important, is, yeah, there are some people saying, it might be in Ethiopia. We don't really know. Well, the CIA documents are talking about it underneath some sort of dome, some big mosque in the Middle East. And then here's where the diversion, the distraction comes in. They say it might be here, it might be there. We don't really know. So I'm going to read something from a Daily Mail article that came out just the other day about this topic. And then I want to show you what the Pyramid Code has to say about this, because once again, just like it was on the money with what was underneath the pyramids, it did it once again in a few days. So it's speaking about, according to legend, a queen of Sheba and Israel's King Solomon, so this is history, gave birth to Menelik in her country of origin, but he later traveled to Jerusalem to study with his father. While there, he supposedly stole the Ark and brought it back to Aksum in Ethiopia. Locals say it has resided in the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion ever since. But then, the British scholar of Semitic languages and Ethiopian studies, Edward Ullendorf, claimed that he saw the Ark inside the church during World War II. But a source close to Ullendorf later revealed that the artifact he saw was nothing more than a replica. What he saw was what you find in any Ethiopian church. It's a model of the Ark of the Covenant because they have replicas all over the place. They have decoys all over the place because you're talking about something of extremely high, not just historical significance, but spiritual significance as well. So in the Pyramid Code, a few days ago, we spoke about what was underneath the pyramids, and we cited certain things from that document that came out 5 years ago. Listen to what it says over here. King Solomon, King David's son, manifested the idea of the first holy temple, but it came at a heavy price to the people of the nation. The first holy temple was composed of 3 main parts. The main hall, the second part of the temple was the main temple, which contained certain objects, and the third part of the temple was known as the Holy of Holies, in which the Ark of the Covenant was. However, over time, and now I'm going to the bottom, it specifically says the place itself, which is known as the foundation stone, in the Dome of the Rock. So the Dome of the Rock, if you read over there, the Holy of Holies, also known as the Dvir in Hebrew, sat on what we know today as the foundation stone. In Hebrew, it's called Evan Hashtiyah. Within the Dome of the Rock as we know it today, the foundation was used as a stand for the Dvir. The foundation stone had and still has very strong powers, and its geographical location is the energy center of our planet, as well as the energy center of everything as a whole. But here's where it gets interesting. If you go down, it says, in a straight line, deep underground, exactly what the remote viewer said, are the contents of the Holy of Holies, which are concealed there until this very day. The room in which these items are hidden, like the rest of the temple, was designed by King Solomon. And further conversations, if you want to call them, about the Pyramid Code, which is the series on Unified TV, further explain exactly where it is, roughly 180 feet below the base of the foundation stone, which is what the Dome of the Rock is actually built around on right now. It's called the Dome of the Rock because it's a massive dome over the foundation stone.
Now, something that Candace Owens has been reporting on quite a bit lately is that a lot of the destruction of the Middle East right now by globalist powers, what she thinks is to purposely destroy Christian artifacts in this area. So this feels like a link to me. What do you think of it? I know you're not a war expert, but what are your thoughts on where the war is targeted?
Yeah, but we could use logic to understand certain things. And what we know is, again, factually, like the center of war in the world is there in the Middle East. It's the split aspect of everything around Israel. Everybody's fighting over it. And the 3 main monotheistic religions, which is Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, all look at that place as this is our place. We got to ask ourselves, why did they go? If you go according to history, before it became a mosque, it was the Holy Temple. Why did they choose to build it there around the foundation stone specifically? What did they know that we don't know today? And the answer is a whole lot. And over time, we'll figure that out. But what I believe is the answer to your question is there's a lot of war around there because there's a lot of power given to the very individuals who control that. And that's what they're really fighting over. This isn't about Jews versus Muslims. It's not a religious war within people. That's how we're used to fight each other in this game of divide and conquer. But what's really going on is, in my opinion, there are powers that be that we do understand control the world when it comes to energy sectors, oil, gas, water, and so on and so forth. Those same people want to make sure, just like a lot of other things are not found out by the masses, that this is not found out either. And that's why I think they're moving people towards saying, well, it's in Ethiopia, look over there, don't look over here. But everything shows us that we're here. And if we look at what happened in January of 2011, this is a very famous video, and this is weird, but it's on camera from multiple angles. There was this big orb of light that today they call UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon. They used to call them UFOs. Nobody knows what it was, but this video was very, very highly spoken about in January of 2011 when it happened, right over the top of the Dome of the Rock, hovering there for a while, staying there, and then boom, it just shoots up at a speed that we cannot comprehend in modern day physics. So my question is, why over there? What's so special about the Dome of the Rock? And if we look at history, we understand the power of the foundation stone. We understand the power of that geographical location, and everything shows us that it's there. Why are they telling us it's somewhere else? To divert our attention. That's my opinion.
Glorioso para los cubanos.
Es un día glorioso porque la ayuda ha llegado y porque los Estados Unidos, después de 65 años, han decidido tomar la iniciativa de hacer lo correcto y liberar al pueblo cubano de los sátrapas, de los despreciables moralmente hablando de la familia Castro. Una familia que lo único que hizo fue utilizar...
Okay, it's in Spanish. I'm going to move on.
What's the purpose of communing with the supernatural for leaders? Why do leaders do it?
I think there was maybe this is a quote or someone said this to me. There are non-powerful people who are Freemasons,
yes,
but there are no powerful people who are not Freemasons.
Freemasons?
Freemasons. If you think about the nature of an initiatory group that's been around in its current form for a few hundred years, since the 1700s, right, in the UK, and likewise in France, but it's, they say its origin, or they believe its origin precedes it to the Knights Templar, right, who were a very powerful order, as we know. From my understanding of the Templars, it's not the idea of like 9 knights showing up in the Middle Eastern Crusades, right, to guard the roads, right? It was really more about excavating under the Temple of Solomon.
Yes.
That was, what they were interested in, or the ancient texts.
The Well of Souls.
The Well of Souls, the ancient texts, the things that were, written into like grimoires and hidden, incantations, things that you could basically call upon the spiritual realm, because that's the lore of King Solomon. King Solomon, as we remember from the Bible, he had wisdom, and he was a powerful ruler over what was in Israel, but
richest man in the world.
Well, he had the goal, but why did he have the power? Was because he could call upon what they call genies, and he could command them with his ring, the Ring of Solomon, the Ring of Power. And that's what this is the real lore of like Masonry, right? Was that he had this builder, Hiram Abiff, who could, who architected the temple, the Temple of Solomon, but they had jinn that they called upon to actually do the work and to build it. Now that's all metaphor.
And what are jinn?
Genies, what we would call genies, in Aladdin's lamp. They are the beings, and so I went to Iran the first time was curiosity, but I went to go meet with some of these guys that communicate to them, to the other side, and I would talk to them about what's going on in the world, and they would say, the jinn in Islamic lore is very similar to like angels and demons, or the watchers in the Book of Enoch, right? Who are not, they're both dark and light. Some serve God, some serve the dark side. And so the idea of like the power of Solomon was to be able to have a relationship and mastery, and some people say that he actually got overwhelmed by the power, and that's why he fell, right? He ended up with the love affair that sort of sank his rulership, because it's a very dangerous gambit once you start communing with that side. But I believe all the initiatory paths, Freemasonry is just one of them, the most famous one, lead you to that realm, to that understanding that there's spiritual forces invisible to us that are working through people in this world. And just because someone is a so-called Christian doesn't mean they're serving God. And just because someone is a Muslim doesn't mean they're serving the devil. That it's the same across the entire planet. That there are forces of dark and light working through every religion, every people, even through our own lifetime, our own souls. At any point, when you grow up in Hollywood or whatnot, you realize like it does seem that people can sell their souls and maybe not even be aware of it. Because to me, it's not Satanism is like, can be incantations, it can be blood sacrifices and rituals. They can also just be worship of the material realm.
Yes.
Right? So when you get into that realm of like, I want power, I want worldly power, I think that's a satanic path. They don't think of it as such. But materialism at its heart is worship of the earth. And that's why people talk about the earth. It's like, it's kind of Lucifer's domain, right? Because if you start worshiping money and, and yourself, your own ego, well, you've lost sight of the transcendent power of God.
What's the purpose of communing with the supernatural for leaders? Why do leaders do it?
I think there was maybe this is a quote or someone said this to me. There are non-powerful people who are Freemasons. Yes. But there are no powerful people who are not Freemasons.
Freemasons?
Okay, maybe I posted that twice. That looks like the same video. The Anglo-Dutch system. Check this out. This is some of the Promethean action stuff, by the way.
What if I told you that Donald Trump's biggest enemies are not the Obama, Clinton, Biden networks, whose heads are on the line in the Russiagate revelations, or even the deep state, but it's the European monarchies who have never stopped their war against the American Republic? Most people think that this is just politics. Republicans versus Democrats, or maybe America versus the globalists. You see the daily battles over Ukraine funding, Fed policy, or the environmental regulations as separate issues. Even Trump supporters often miss the big picture, focusing on individual bad actors or policy disputes. But what we're fighting is a system, properly named the Anglo-Dutch system. And what we're witnessing is unprecedented. An American president waging direct war against the very Anglo-Dutch system that we fought the American Revolution against. Trump isn't just fighting globalists. He's taking on the European monarchy and oligarchy, led by the British monarchy and its Dutch and European partners. This is what's been bleeding America dry through its central banking system, its environmental death cult, and its endless imperial wars. I'm Susan Kokinda, and I've been tracking this imperial system for over 5 decades. I've documented how these same royal families created the Federal Reserve, launched the environmental movement, and started every major war. Tomorrow, Barbara Boyd and I will be doing our second live Q&A to break down exactly how these imperial oligarchies operate. Sign up for our free newsletter at Promethean Action to get the details. But today, I'm exposing 3 fronts in Trump's war against the European oligarchies. First, how King Charles and the Dutch are desperately keeping Ukraine burning. Second, how Trump's economic policies are dismantling their centuries-old ideology of environmental destruction. And third, how his Fed battle strikes at the very heart of the financial empire that's ruled the United States since 1913. So why is the Ukraine war continuing when Trump has a clear mandate to end it, and he wants to end killing? Because of the empire's stranglehold over Europe. As this is being recorded, the president's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, is in Moscow, having just concluded a meeting with Russian President Putin in an effort to move the process forward. Preliminary reports characterize the meeting as productive. But it's hard to negotiate when there are other parties on the battlefield. So look at this. The very first European country to pony up almost $600 million in arms purchases from the United States to keep the Ukraine conflict going is the Netherlands. $600 million. That's a small country. This is the Netherlands, as in the Dutch half of the Anglo-Dutch imperial system. And the other European countries that immediately jumped in, Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. Notice something? They're all monarchies. You can use your favorite AI to look at the ties between these royal families and the British monarchy. This is all part of the same imperial structure that has been in a war with sovereign republics for centuries. Remember, we wouldn't be here in the first place if Britain's Boris Johnson hadn't ordered Zelensky to walk away from a negotiated settlement back in April 2022. That's the Anglo side of the Anglo-Dutch system. And don't forget Zelensky's 2 visits with King Charles this year. That's the empire calling in its puppet. Now, here's what they don't want you to see. While Europe keeps things stirred up, Trump, Putin, and Witkoff are trying their damnedest to make progress. While Witkoff's meeting with Putin was preceded by some typical Trump-like moves, such as wielding the sanctions threat against Russia, Trump also made the point that Russia knows how to deal with him. Yes, Trump made public the repositioning of U.S. nuclear subs after former Prime Minister Medvedev made some very inflammatory remarks. But here's how Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov contrasted the U.S. position on Ukraine to that of the Europeans as recently as this August 1st statement. For now, progress is primarily seen in the fact that our American colleagues, unlike the Europeans who are focused on aggressive Russophobia, are aware of the current realities and are trying to take into account the root causes of the crisis. And while the Europeans are hysterically demanding that Ukraine be dragged into NATO and prepared for war with Russia, Mr. Rubio recently confirmed a responsible approach, clearly stating that a direct military confrontation between the United States and Russia should never be allowed. We fully agree with this, and this is also the result of mutual understanding achieved through Russian-American dialogue.
Okay, we're gonna finish up with some of the videos here and we're gonna get into the game here soon. Itching to play. I don't even know what the gameplay is gonna be like, so I'm kinda curious. The U.S. Department of Justice announces the indictment of Raul Castro. This is actually from the Justice Department now, though.
Today, we are announcing an indictment charging Raul Castro and several others with conspiracy to kill U.S. nationals.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and skip on past that. But also, another reason I named today's episode, Are We Losing Control? It is kind of upsetting to see the last non-AIPAC funded Congress member be unseated. It's just very... It's very unsettling just to see everyone that used to be able to fight back. Well, I guess we might still have a few people within our government, but like I don't think the AOC, I don't think that Bernie Sanders, I don't think they have ever taken any funding. But I mean, it is kind of strange to almost like go back to the left to be your savior from someone that you thought you were running from. I'm not saying go vote for a Democrat at all. I'm just saying that it's kind of strange that we've been put into this weird predicament now, where it seems like everybody on the Republican side has been basically unseated, that were America only, and now might only have like a few characters left that are Democrats. I'm not saying go vote for them. You know, I'm honestly in the boat of I'm done with both parties and I want something new. I don't know how we achieve that, but, you know, maybe we gotta get a little creative. I'm not, you know, not promoting violence. I'm not saying do anything too crazy. Maybe a little crazy, but not anything too crazy. Nothing that will, I don't know, destroy your life or something. But anyways, I'm gonna move on from this. Kinda. I want to finish up with Ron Paul and then also this video right here below. Then we'll be done with today's videos.
The big political event today, Daniel, it looks like that wouldn't be hard to figure out. I think our friend is up in a tough election, and it's going to be decided tomorrow. And a lot of people are involved, a lot of special interest groups involved. And there's no doubt who had the most money. And we have to remind ourselves the person with the most money doesn't always win the election. But Thomas is doing his best to pull this off because it would be a tremendous victory because they're bad-mouthing and lying and cheating and all this that we can anticipate in a race like this.
This is not really about a single race. I mean, this is about a bunch of different things that are all equally important. First of all, as you pointed out, this is the single most expensive House race in history. Tens of millions of dollars are being spent to elect someone from a small, rural, mostly rural district in Kentucky. You think, well, why the heck
is it so important to spend so much money on this race? Well, because Thomas Massie has stood out as the one candidate who is consistent in opposing our interventionist foreign policy, and that includes all foreign aid. That includes money for Israel. That includes money for Ukraine. He's opposed it all across the board, but he never really stepped into a snare until he started really irritating the Israel lobby, and that's why. Whereas if you look at the origin of Massie's donations, the majority of them are very small donations. He had a money bomb recently where he raised over $2 million in small contributions from individuals, whereas his opponent in this race is sort of an astroturfed figure with no real history. He refuses to debate Thomas Massie. He refuses to even say what his positions are. He says, well, you'll find out once I'm elected. His money comes from primarily from three outside sources. Miriam Adelson, Paul Singer, and the third one's escaping me now, but these are oligarchs, multi-billionaires, and they share one thing in common. They have an absolute affection for a foreign country called Israel. And so Thomas going up against them is really a test of the power of the Israel lobby. And we know from Buchanan's time, if you remember when he talked about, Congress that is the Israeli occupied territory, and people were really surprised. Now people don't even shrug their shoulders. Like it's accepted. So I think this is the last stand of the Israel lobby, and that's why they're putting so much money into defeating Thomas Massie.
Well, it kind of seems like they won. That's why it is such a disheartening message for today. Are we losing control? There's so many different weird, wild factors to go over. I don't have time for it all today, but I don't know. Sometimes it kind of leads you on weird rabbit trails like this one.
So we know he's going to have one eye. You've seen the celebrities all over the place. Look at them. The Weeknd, everyone does it. All the biggest people in the industry. This guy here used to be in the industry.
Yeah, like
too.
this stuff.
Not like, not
like
going
this.
that way. He left it.
All of them do it.
They all go like this, and they all go like this. Isn't the one eye?
Prophet Muhammad said he'll have one eye. And what's going to be one of his tools, Sonny Boy? Because I can't believe I slept on that.
I can't remember to point this out.
Well, I know you're going to use that, but I never thought of like the actual tool.
You know how I was talking earlier about how the English language
What's the
is coded? How it's coded everywhere?
What's the weapon?
Artificial intelligence, AI. We believe where.
Prophet's exact words, peace be upon him, where every prophet warned his people of the false Messiah. But I will tell you one thing that no other prophet told his people, for you will be the ones to fight them. There's a Christian alliance there too. In our faith, there's a Christian alliance against the Antichrist. The ones that can see, the ones that have light. They join forces. There's no other way to fight this guy. But it's not even them that win because the one that takes him out is Christ.
Sorry if that's too fast. Let me slow it down just a little bit. I kind of want it to be still a little fast.
Yeah, but you know how I was talking earlier about how the English language is coded? How it's coded everywhere?
What's the weapon?
Artificial intelligence, AI. We believe where.
Prophet's exact words, peace be upon him, where every prophet warned his people of the false Messiah. But I will tell you one thing that no other prophet told his people, for you will be the ones to fight them. There's a Christian alliance there too. In our faith, there's a Christian alliance against the Antichrist. The ones that can see, the ones that have light. They join forces. There's no other way to fight this guy. But it's not even them that win because the one that takes him out is Christ.
If you want to know what's going on in this country, you have to be able to handle the fact that in Genesis chapter 6, Satan, the only way he could hijack the human race was to get into their genetics and to interbreed and then get human beings to disqualify themselves because they weren't fully human. Okay, so now in Nimrod, in the Nimrod days, Nimrod was one of these hybrids. He was like Goliath. It says he was a Hagaborum, the mighty one, just like Goliath was. And when he came into power, it says that he was a mighty hunter before the Lord, is what it says in King James. Well, that's wrong. It said he was a hunter of men. He was a hunter of men. He built walled cities to keep men in. He was Satan himself. It's Antichrist. Nimrod is the Antichrist spirit. So he became Gilgamesh. He escaped to Ur. And so God called Abraham out of Ur and made a nation against this Antichrist spirit. Why is nobody saying any of this? So Gilgamesh was Nimrod. Nimrod was deified. He was a mason. He was a mason. He built the Tower of Babel. He was the first mason. He put his initial, Gilgamesh, G, in his symbol. Mystery Babylon, as the book of Revelation says. So I don't understand why there's all these controversies and why people are fighting each other. It's just pretty plain to me. And Mystery Babylon is a mystery for one reason. We need to get out of diapers and get rid of bottles before we can handle this sarcasm. It's all part of the plan of Satan to take over the earth completely by entrapping human beings.
And I mean, Nimrod had one eye, as you can see here. And so did Odin. Odin had one eye as well, one of the Norse gods. But so after watching this video, I went to go look into who really is, what is the story of Nimrod? And so my understanding basically is that Nimrod is behind the Tower of Babylon, which was this great big tower we learned about in Genesis, I think chapter 10, that wanted to reach up to the heavens and basically go against God. And that's what the name, essentially, Nimrod means. So Nimrod apparently comes from the Hebrew verb marad, which essentially means we will rebel or come and rebel. So Nimrod, the name, means to rebel. But if you're familiar with the story of Noah, essentially, Nimrod is the great-grandson of Noah. So Noah had a son, well, he had 3 sons, but one of his sons he had, his name was Ham. Ham had a son named Cush, and then Cush had or begat Nimrod. But so returning back to what that video touched on a little bit about how Nimrod was this mighty hunter, mighty man, that's something that piqued my interest to look into, because what is this mighty man? The mighty man actually comes from the Hebrew Gibor, and Gibor essentially means giant. So how did Nimrod become a giant? Because it has been theorized by many biblical scholars that perhaps there was some dark black magic rituals or something that Nimrod knew about and practiced, maybe some kind of thing that he got from the fallen angels or the fallen one would turn him into a mighty man. It's still not really known today what this means, that he became like a mighty man. So there is this theory that by performing possibly black dark sex magic, somehow Nimrod was able to become like this mighty man. And so that led me to the book of Yashar, which actually goes into a lot more depth of this Nimrod story, right? So oddly enough, in the book of Yashar, chapter 27, it talks about how Esau ends up killing Nimrod, right? And how they were both in the field hunting. It's kind of odd, which makes me wonder, about the mighty hunters. Were they really mighty hunters of men? It kind of seems that they might have been. So, but anyway, I'm reading this from the book of Yashar, and it's saying that when Esau killed Nimrod and cut off his head, he also took off of Nimrod Adam's garments. And I'm like, what are these Adam's garments? And apparently this was skin. This is literal skin that the Most High or whatever had given Adam and Eve when they when they had their fall from the Garden of Eden. And it's further said in this chapter that this is what made Nimrod strong and mighty. It says, and Nimrod became strong when he put on the garments, and God gave him might and strength, and he was a mighty hunter in the earth. Yes, a mighty hunter in the field. And he hunted the animals, and he built altars, and he offered them. Okay, so this is saying essentially that these were some kind of garments that could turn Nimrod into a giant? And just side note, I also found it interesting that it said Esau killed Nimrod and like cut off his head, because there have been theories that you had to actually physically cut off the heads of giants in order for them, I guess, to truly die. But so just a quick recap on this whole Nimrod story is that essentially Nimrod was the king of Babylon after the flood and wanted to build this Tower of Babel, or this quote-unquote ziggurat, up to the heavens to turn people against the Most High and to worship themselves, is my understanding. He was, I'm assuming, a normal human being and essentially turned himself into a giant or mighty man somehow, possibly through black dark magic or through these skin garments of Adam's that were passed down and that now Esau has stolen and has. It's actually also theorized that the constellation Orion, or the mighty hunter, is actually Nimrod.
Left inside humanity. What do we got to do? We got to create a new breed of humanity. Exactly what the transhumanists are saying now. The mystics of old were saying the same thing. The day will come when we will need to rejuvenate, recalibrate, alter, re-engineer humanity so that once again we can be an offspring of the immortals. But why should Christians care about a Sibyl's prophecy on the Great Seal heralding the return of Apollo? Because the Bible identifies the god Apollo as the same spirit, verified by the same name, that will inhabit the political leader of the end times New World Order. 2 Thessalonians, let no man deceive you by any means, but that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. This is the Greek word Apollyon, which is the Greek's way of saying what we call Apollo. Apollia, Apollyon, Apollo. Revelation 17:8 ties the coming of the Antichrist with the return of Apollo. The beast that thou sawest was, and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. Apollia, Apollo. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was, and is not, and yet is. This phrase is held by many theologians who believe that it pointed to either a spirit or a personality that existed on the earth, was dead at the time or gone at the time of the writing of Revelation 17:8, but who will return in the latter days to either be or to possess the Antichrist.
Okay, I'm done with that. Alright, let's get into this game. It's Thomas Massey conceding. I don't think anybody really cares to see that, do they? I guess you could if you want to.
I would have come out sooner, but I had to call my opponent and concede, and it took a while to find Ed Galrine in Tel Aviv.
The same joke twice, damn it.
I did get the call for you. I have called and conceded the race. We've been honorable the whole time, and we're going to stay that way. I would have come out sooner, but I had to call.
Get it ready. Might play music later, but I kind of want to see what the game's like first. Alright, let's do this. Ooh. Turn up a little bit, like right there. Subtitles, yes. Start new game. This better be awesome. That's not.
Fair warning.
Probably not.
This is gonna be weirder than usual. Can't be helped. You called me. So here I am.
I didn't call you. You called me.
I know I shut you out sometimes. I'm always glad to hear from you. It's just that I get my hopes up. So many times it's led to nothing.
Sounds moody.
I found nothing. It's like we live in a room and there's a poster on the wall. We stare at it and we think that's the whole world.
Federal Bureau of Control.
The room.
Sounds about right.
And the poster. The picture's something nice. A landscape, a famous person. Like in that movie. What is it called? The prison movie. The room's a cell, and the picture, it's different for each of us. It can be beautiful or terrible, but we're all transfixed. But it's all a lie. Something to distract us from the truth. They're lying to us. We're lying to ourselves. The room's not the world. The world is much bigger and much stranger. There's a hole hidden behind that poster that leads to the real world. We all feel safe in that room. But sometimes something crawls out from behind the poster. And the ones that see it happen freak out and try to forget what they saw.
I don't know why it's being all sticky. Don't be sticky.
I'm here. Why did you bring me here?
Hello? Anyone here?
Anyone here?
Jump, hell yeah. You always use the same leg to jump. That's not gonna be good for your left leg later. Respondents. What's the point of this game? Like a CIA agent or something? My FBI agent, my FBC agent, Federal Bureau of Control agent. I think I'm actually like a CEO or something. Don't get weird about it.
This seal. I saw it a long time ago. I keep seeing it in my dreams.
Talking about the eagle? Sprint 2, hell yeah. We should be able to go into all of these.
Federal Bureau of Control. All these years I've been looking for them and they were hiding in plain sight.
Huh? The story kind of seems cheesy. So far at least. Hopefully it gets better. Going here. I think I need to pick up more correspondence. Anything else?
Hello? Hey, excuse me.
There you are. You are here about the job. Janitor's assistant. You need to go to the interview. Go that way to the elevator.
Thanks. Elevator that way. Got it.
Very good. I'm Ahti, the janitor, by the way. You'll work for me. You can say I sent you. If they don't hire you, they you are no helvet. Dirty work for the axe. Take them behind the sauna, you malot.
I've done enough night shift loner jobs to know it makes us come off weird. Ahti the janitor is a friendly face in my book.
Better than somebody with no face at all. Think about it. No face.
Did you just read her mind? I think she was talking to herself.
The cell and the poster. I was 11 years old the first time I saw behind the poster. They told me I imagined it. I've been trying to pull it down ever since. Will you help?
I mean, at least everything's like clear. I did a good job on the, I guess the resolution. How everything looks. Yeah, cool ambiance. I'm just hoping the story's cool. This is good. What's going on here? Is this like another dimension? Kind of control. For the FBC.
Did I lose you there for a moment? You know what's on my mind. My baby brother, Dylan. 17 years since the men of this bureau took him.
I think it's supposed to be flickering like that. I guess it's like an effect. I hope at least. That or it's like waking up. I can see that right. Oh wait. Stop doing it. It's weird. Maybe it's not supposed to do it. Yeah, because it stops in some places. That's weird. Why does the lighting do that? Maybe I need to like optimize the game or something next time. It only does it in some places. It's weird. What up? Get my correspondence first. Then we'll investigate.
Shit. Shit. You want me to pick it up? The murder weapon? Really?
We get a gun now.
And there goes the poster.
Objects of power can cause or be results of AWE's altered world events, intrusions upon the perceived reality. Now,
oh, this is cool. Alright,
the service weapon is, of course, a prime example of an OOP, a very powerful one. Ingrained in the Bureau's DNA, a key component in our prime candidate program. Come out of that Russian roulette a winner and you're it.
Look at this place. Where am I?
Astral plane? Hell yeah. This is just the game I wanted. Astral plane challenge. Which is just a platformer. Fight it.
The same, though.
Choose to be chosen.
Okay. Now I have a gun.
Yeah, boy. Projection gun, so I guess it reloads itself. Stuck with this gun.
Something's coming.
Sounds like it's gonna be a fun game.
This threat.
What's up, Flash Wolf?
An attack.
How's it going, man? Just now saw you.
Duty as director. Keep the Bureau safe.
Did you hear that? It's the dead man. Right after the pyramid spoke to me, and it was just noise, and I understood every word. And this gun's alive. You know what? I'm happy. Happy to be here.
There you go.
Things have quieted down outside.
Like, I have
Is it
the
safe to go?
power. It is all mine now. I have the control. Alright, director's office. Are we the director now? Proceed further into the bureau. Collectibles. Research, bureau, expenditures. They're already redacting shit, bro. I don't know, does the FBC exist? Kind of seems like it's a combination between like the FBI and like the CIA or something. I don't know. Now I'm just kind of like, is there a Federal Bureau of Control? Never know, there might be. Like there's some branches of government we don't know about. Yeah, see? As you should know by now, the R4 reports are due by the end of the week. We're still waiting for them from a number of people. If you need an extension, please request form R4.E from your supervisor. Yeah. United States of America Federal Bureau of Control. Now I'm gonna be looking this shit up later. I'm like, is there a Federal Bureau of Control? I feel like it's made up, but I don't know. I feel like I learn new shit every single day, so. Alright, done here. Look at all that.
Objects of power can cause or be results of AWE's altered world events, intrusions upon the perceived reality.
Watched, but it looks
a side note, remember to cover their connection to the astral plane as well. Now, the service weapon is, of course, a prime example of an OOP, a very powerful one.
We didn't see this
Ingrained in the Bureau's DNA, a key component in our prime candidate program. Come out of that Russian roulette a winner and you're it. Lose and you're, well, fired. Thank you. I'm Dr. Darling, Head of Research, Federal Bureau of Control.
Dr. Darling. Flash Wolf. Have a good night.
You can't let this happen. You can't let this happen. You can't let this happen.
She's like a real actress.
You can't let this happen.
Not of a character.
You can't let this happen.
I think this game is from 2019, so it's kind of old now, but it still looks really good.
You
I've never played it.
You. Oh, thank you. That was horror. Get the fuck away!
Oh, they were hitting behind me. I was like, what do I hear like exploding behind me? Can I not like change my weapon? You say so. This room. There's doing something weird with the light.
The hotline.
Maybe it's trying to do that because, like, I don't know. It's almost like the visuals keep doing weird shit.
Reach the hotline.
Maybe that's a part of the game.
Okay.
Shots. Oh, that's how you crouch. Okay, now I know how to do it. Maybe there's other buttons I haven't hit yet. Let's see. Away from the objective. Let's get all the close ones. As much as we can.
Hissing sound that tried to invade me earlier. The hiss. Burrowing into everything in this place. Is the hiss your enemy? Alright, it's our enemy. That babble's contagious. It burrows in like an infuriating melody that makes you hum it over and over.
I feel like the game is glitching, but at the same time, don't know if that's like supposed to be happening. Did he heal?
Must cleanse control points. An enemy. Corrupt. Spreading.
Cleanse the control point. What does that mean? Help me fix it. Holy shit. You did it. We did it.
Hello? Can you hear me? Are you with us?
I want to see if I can like fix this like light problem with the game real quick. I don't know if that's like, I feel like it's something that's wrong on the computer's end. Display. Medium. That's the first problem. Need it on high. Maybe that'll fix it. Ray tracing. Let's put it on high. This is an older game, so I should be able to play everything on high. Alright, now I gotta press something. Let's go back.
The Bureau. Are you still sane?
I have to restart the game.
Please, talk to me. We saw you deal with the compromised agents.
I can't tell you how happy I am to talk to somebody sane.
The feeling's mutual. Yeah, I'm Pope, Emily Pope, Dr. Darling's assistant.
Should
My turn.
readjust.
Should I lie?
Hopefully by the next level.
Jesse Faden. I'm just visiting.
I should have lied.
Oh, shit. You're the new director. Hold on. We're coming out.
Director Faden. Call me Jesse.
Okay, Jesse. I'm Emily. Look, somehow this hostile force, this
hiss,
that works. Somehow the hiss managed to infiltrate the building without any warning.
And just like that, my name for it is official. The hiss. Like the sound of poison gas leaking in.
We're in full lockdown. It seems to have spread everywhere and to everyone not protected by an HRA. And, extraordinarily, you. You are the director, and that makes you special by definition. Trench is no longer the director, obviously. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. This whole situation is just a lot.
Trench is dead. Shot.
Ah.
I found his body. And the gun.
Do I tell her it looked like a suicide?
The service weapon.
Also, and this can sound crazy, but he keeps appearing to me, saying things. It's hard to make out, but he told me to cleanse the control point, push the hiss out. The whole room shifted around.
You did that? And you entered the building when it was already in the lockdown.
It's almost like the game is trying to
before
do
you
that
became the new
weird
director?
flickering stuff, but then it
How?
will like fix itself. I don't know. It's weird.
I'm not ready to tell her about you yet.
A janitor let me in.
I love it. This is fucking unbelievable.
It's making me think the game
can't
is
even-
screwing up though, so I don't really know.
Look, Jesse, I have a million questions, and you probably have a million more.
Like, do you know my brother Dylan? Not yet.
I'm gonna have to restart the game. I can already see it.
But there's something I
flickering
need to
down the
ask you
screen.
to do first.
Hold up. Let me see if I can fix this. I'm gonna go ahead and back out of the game. I can make sure it doesn't screw anything up too bad. I'm gonna restart it. Alright. Jumping back in now, guys. On the screen. Kind of want music now. As loud tonight, but I kind of want some background music. Much better now. That's right.
Can't tell you how happy I am to talk to somebody sane.
Her feelings mutual. Yeah, I'm Pope, Emily Pope, Dr. Darling's assistant.
My turn. Should I lie?
Jesse Faden. I'm Jesse.
I should have lied.
Shit. You're the new director. Hold on. We're coming out.
Director Faden.
Call me Jesse.
Okay, Jesse. I'm Emily.
He's moving a lot better now.
Somehow, this hostile force, this
hiss,
that works. Somehow the hiss managed to infiltrate the building without any warning.
And just like that, my name for it is official. The hiss. Like the sound of poison gas leaking in.
We're in full lockdown. It seems to have spread everywhere and to everyone, not protected by an HRA. And, extraordinarily, you. You are the director, and That makes you special by definition. Trench is no longer the director, obviously. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. This whole situation is just a lot.
Trench is dead. Shot. I found his body. And the gun.
Do I tell her it was suicide?
The service weapon.
Also, and this can sound crazy, he keeps appearing to me, saying things. It's hard to make out, but he told me to cleanse the control point, push the hiss out. The whole room should do.
You did that? And you entered the building when it was already in the lockdown, before you became the new director. How?
I'm not ready to tell her about you yet.
A janitor let me in.
I love it. This is fucking unbelievable. I can't even... Look, Jesse, I have a million questions, and probably have a million more.
Like, do you know my brother Dylan? Not yet.
But there's something I need to ask you to do first. If you can cleanse a control point, then you can maybe cure those infected or possessed by the hiss. Because if that's possible, our options are very different.
Emily Poe. I don't know her, but I like her already. She's the opposite of the faceless agency I've blamed for what happened to me for so long. But I can't trust her yet. Or rather, the Bureau she's a part of.
Yes. I can try.
I'm speaking for you, of course. We can try it together. Okay. You with me? I did it before. Push the hiss out.
Well, these older games have a hard time with the ray tracing, it seems like. Didn't master that until like 5 years later, it seems. So this game, or this computer, should be running it very, very cleanly.
Incident in my hometown, Ordinary, 17 years ago. The Bureau came in and covered the whole thing up. I've been looking for this place for a long time.
That's enough. Maybe that's too much already. I can't tell her about Dylan and the rest yet.
I've seen mentions of the altered world event case dealing with Ordinary. As a child, it was one of the big ones, and before my time, and very classified. I can try to dig out some old files for you. My boss, Casper Darling, would know, but he's missing. I see where this was coming from. A suspected. He came up with the HRAs, Petrol Resonance Amplifiers. I think they're what saved us. A few of us. And Director Trench would know.
Trench? The ghost, or whatever he is, he mentioned something called the hotline. Said I should find it.
It's another object of power, like the gun, an old Bakelite telephone. A direct line of communication between the director and the board. Maybe he can talk to you more clearly through that. Trench has years and years of experience.
I'm just ignoring the weird flashing, because I don't know how to fix it.
It's kept in the communications department through the mailroom.
Guess that
Part of the
could turn
center,
off
so we
the
can
ray
access it
tracing.
even with the lockdown in place. We'll get the door open for you.
Okay.
Switch it to medium, maybe. Let's do medium.
That's my next stop.
That's
That
Tomas's
didn't
department.
help.
He's the head of communication.
Turn it off.
I don't think he had
There
an
we go.
HRA. He kind of made a point about not wearing one earlier. Keep an eye out.
They call me
Fix
the
it.
director. That's not me. I'm not a director, Frank. Not here. Why am I here? I think you already know. Yes, I came for my brother, but there are other reasons too. I said I was looking for answers, but I might never understand them. I'm not
Honestly,
looking
it
for
doesn't even need the
proof.
ray
It's
tracing.
already more. No matter what they told me all those years, I know it's real now. I didn't imagine this. I want to be a part of this world. What scares me shitless is that I finally found it. Only to see the hiss destroy it all.
Thankfully, there's shadows without the light tracing, or the ray tracing.
I know this is a location,
There's still the shadows, and there's still ray tracing to a degree.
It's just outside the booth we're cracking them
Yeah,
off.
it's still ray tracing. Hey, what? It was fixed for a second, and now you gotta fuck with it even more? Okay. I'm just not gonna get excited for anything. No point in getting excited anymore, guys. Everything will be stolen from you. All your happiness. Just to throw in some random game. Where you going right now? Way up there.
There it is again. A welcome message.
Glad you couldn't see me behind the thing in the wall for a second. That was the first time I died. Oh no. One second.
There it is again. A welcome message. It's overpowering here. You don't want me anywhere near it. Don't go on that.
I'm not gonna talk up this time. Oh, I can't go this way. Fuck! It killed me. I didn't realize. I was realizing too late. I was like, what is hitting me? Being kinda dumb.
There it is again. A welcome message.
It looks like shit. Going in there.
disk, of course, but one exactly like it. A perfect fusion of concepts vibrating in the Cold War era collective unconscious. A receptacle. It is a receptacle for dangerous energies to hone in on. And they did. We don't have the details, but when things started flying around the disk, it was transferred to us. It's not you. Oh, okay. Oops. Okay, I can launch things automatically from the air. To date, we launched... We got some pencils. And once... we launched the car.
Object of power. It's harder to hear you when I'm here. It's like the channel's been changed. The board's in charge here. They're pyramids in the Bureau seal. Are they really the ones pulling the strings? I'm not their director. I'm Miriam's director.
I don't know I could do that. Oh, I just now have this ability. Didn't I always have it?
product you wanted, right? This will help me fight the hiss.
You got lucky. I like barely went around the corner. Alright, let's try it again.
have a feeling he'll be back. We must stay focused. The hotline should be past the mailbox.
Alright, take this down. The situation in Cuba has been evaluated by the relevant authorities. The mysterious illness affecting the staff.
Alberto Tomasi, head of comms. Okay, Scott, the hotline can't be far now.
Oh, it's just a dark room. What the hell? Somebody told me there was like a hole there. Bro, come on now. Why did it take me back that far? I can't believe it took me past the fucking boss fight and everything. Some bullshit. Oh wait, never mind. Okay. Never mind. Fight him again. I just gotta walk through everything. Probably not gonna play that again then. It's just inconveniencing me, just throwing me back a million ways. And they completely shit on the graphics. Fix it something to the next loading screen.
The Ocean View Motel and Casino. The light switch cord. Door marked with black pyramid.
Subtitles. Flip the fucking dimension on me or some shit.
Run, radar. Oh, something recognizable.
I don't know if their name is supposed to be doing that or what. It's like freaking out. Go in these doors. kind of glitchy. Just see what happens. I'll reload everything, come back. This game loads pretty quick, so it won't take long. Graphics are getting kind of weird too, so it's good to restart every now and again.
All right, take this down. The situation in Cuba has been evaluated by the relevant authorities. The mysterious illness affecting the staff at the U.S. Embassy in Havana was caused by sonic weaponry in the hands of a foreign power.
Walk in here. Why does that just like drop off? It's fucking weird.
Have we been here before? No. I've stayed at a lot of roadside motels across the country, on the road, on the run, under the radar. This feels like all of them, like something recognized from the screen.
Something's wrong with the ray tracing in this game. Glitchy as hell. It's like shining through the door. What do I do? Doesn't really let me do anything. Literally all I can do is just go back. Okay, I traversed it, now what? What did that do? Did I change something? Do something! Oh no, that door's shut. Oh no, this door's open, okay.
Key has a black pyramid on it.
He has a black pyramid on it. Okay. There's the back door. Now this opens, okay. This opens. working between each line pool. I know how to work dimensions, y'all. Just bear with me. Watched Supernatural before. I don't even know if they're Supernatural. Never watched it. I just know how this shit works. Somehow, some way, subconsciously, I know. I feel like I've done it 1,000,000 times and 1,000 other lifetimes. That makes any sense. It does if you know half the weird scientific theories that are out there. Now what? Shit, pick up the hotline. Oh, now we've got a freaking pathway. Neat. So it's hidden behind dimensions just to get through here. That's kind of neat. I don't know why, but it's always muffled in that screen for some reason. You can't even hear them.
To other planes of existence as well.
A director needs a team. My management team. These people know the secrets of the Bureau as well as I do. Some even better. Darling, Tomasi, Salvador, Marshall. Marshall especially, the head of operations. Fail is yourself. But things change when you become director.
I have it. The hotline. I can reach Trench. Well, listen to him. He feels more like an echo. An echo with important info. I need to get back to Emily. People react strongly when I tell them about you. Is it too soon to tell Emily? She might be able to help.
Thank you.
Somebody clean up this bitch. Where's the janitor at? He's not really the janitor, is he? Level 1 or 2 clearance. Even though I'm the director, makes no sense. What's up, bro? He's out here hanging out. Oh yeah, this is the everybody's cool room. Nobody works, do they? Just like chill. You guys are just like fucking with the lights for like, you guys are like literally not working. You're just like pretending to work. Yeah, I see you. I see you. You're all fired. You're all fired.
Jesse, did you get the hotline? I mean, how is it out there? The comms, the hiss? Sorry.
I got the hotline. I can make out what you're saying.
I like her.
Incredible.
That's
What
right,
did
be
he say?
sorry.
He talked about his management team. People who knew the Bureau's secrets. Your boss, Darling. Tomasi, but he's gone. Salvador?
He's the head of security.
And Marshall?
Helen Marshall is head of operations. She's tough, ex-CIA. She took her Rangers and went to the research sector to secure the HRA protection. She hasn't come back.
Someone who could help us. The other sectors. How do I get there?
It's impossible because of the internal lockdown. You can perform a directorial override to lift it, but that can only be done in the maintenance sector. Normally, you take the sector elevator down there. It connects all the sectors, but it won't work while the lockdown is in effect.
We already got past one lockdown.
Maybe I can find a way.
Jesse, look, with no prep, no training, in this extreme situation, you are doing phenomenally well. And all that hiss can't seem to affect you. I mean, I would love to run some tests on you. If you agree, that is. We could find out something that would help us.
Tests. I don't know. She might find out about you. But I wouldn't mind understanding more myself.
Okay. If you think it will help.
Great. I'll check the internal documentation for any lockdown bypasses. We need to get these sectors open to locate Darling and Marshall.
And I'll look for a way inside the maintenance sector. The sooner we find one, the sooner I reach this override.
Hi, Jesse.
Something else I'm supposed to learn about?
I'm sure I'll have more questions soon.
Just let me know. Do you hear that? Someone's singing.
Sounds like it's coming from the elevator.
Hope has asked us to document the history of incantation.
You mean like in person?
killed.
Oh, the Bureau's golden child had to gain from killing the boss. Safely, and what he hears is kept to his way.
rocket go somewhere. Go this way though. Can I go that way? Shelter, but I can't go in there. Somewhere.
Whispers growing louder. The worst winter storm in Bureau history. A retribution for my sins. Our sins. This threat could destroy Bureau. Everything I built. Destroy me. A web spun, turning this place against me. Catch glimpses of it in the corner of my eye. It's just out of reach. It's clever. First game of heights. Is this part of an attack? Obfuscating the facts. Dimming my eyes. It's hard to know. I need answers.
bring me back anything good? Where did the hiss come from? I'm not sure. You said the hiss was here at the end. Did you see anything like that outside? No, just inside. The sewers is internal. The oldest house is a sprawling complex with openings to other places as well. I don't even know where to start looking. But in the context, it's good news. The lockdown holds. The hiss escaping the building would be the end. Pretty shitty world out there if you ask me, but I wouldn't want the hiss to destroy it. I'm with you on that, Emily. You mentioned the oldest house. What is it? This building, the Bureau headquarters, the oldest house, is a shifting place. It seems transcends its physical limits. Been to New York a few times. How did I notice this place? Is an attribute of power. This is a place of power. The oldest house doesn't let you touch it. Unless you're physically trying to find it, you don't. Which is perfect for us. The work we do here is essential, but unstable. The Bureau prefers not to do this. And we need strong walls to make sure it works.
So without you, I never would have found the front door.
Okay. This trench coat. I keep hearing something in my head. Is he a ghost? Haunting me? I doubt we're talking about a ghost in the traditional sense. An echo. See, if he was killed by the Superstar, your blood, it's his final thoughts recorded by the bullet in his brain, like with deep space probes and like that. That's just a hypothesis, not quite. If you need the gun to research it, you better hold on to that given the circumstances. I think I will. Yeah. Can you tell me what an
We
object
start the game after I do test on this.
This is all... Well... Don't worry, I love going over the basics. So objects of power are mundane objects that house paranatural energies and have developed to link to the astral plane and can thus be controlled, which is what differentiates them from altered items, which are still housings of paranatural forces, but are more volatile and cannot be bound in the peri-utilitarian sense. Got it?
Did she memorize this?
Got it. Thanks. So HRA stop you from becoming Hiss?
It seems that way. I mean, I hadn't even heard of an HRA until a few weeks ago when Dr. Darling started handing them out. Well, I began analyzing mine as soon as I got it. And each one seems to emit a powerful short-range frequency way beyond anything I've ever seen.
Doesn't the timing seem suspicious?
I thought that too. Dr. Darling usually likes to unveil his latest breakthrough in big presentations. With these, he just passed them out. Yeah, his behavior makes me wonder what exactly he needs.
Thanks, Emily. I'm sure I'll have more questions soon.
Just let me know.
Game is an odyssey.
A lot of these questions will be answered
back to this room right here? Pretty sure it is. Why does the room look different? Whoa. Oh. Yeah, dude needs ray tracing on. Bullshit. Oh, no, this game's gonna be like glitchy no matter what. I don't know what I can do to fix it. You better see me turn that ray tracing all the way up then. It's gonna be like that. There. I think it's probably gonna fucking do either way. I got it this way. What is this way? Is this the maintenance room?
A lot of these questions could be answered.
That was the maintenance room, or would I be? Right below pneumatics, maybe? I gotta be downstairs. New room. It's got a jukebox in there, really? Is the music that bad? I gotta keep it locked up. Probably interdimensional portal. Like most jukeboxes. Wouldn't that be a weird fun fact? Oh wait, we can go downstairs. Oh, this is it right here. I found
Like
it.
I said before, the janitor is a friendly.
Oh, look at that. That wasn't too hard. Why didn't it tell me to go over there? Fucking janitor.
The maintenance sector is the janitor domain. If I can find Ahti here,
Whoa.
he can help me reach the override. Maybe it was you who got me into the old.
Settings are getting on my nerves. Turn on film drain. Turn it off that. Leave it on medium. I don't know what else would fix it. Is there anything else here that looks stupid?
This house with the lockdown on. Maybe it was Ahti. It felt like he made the elevator appear that took me to Trench's office. Is Ahti guiding me too?
I like the fast drive move.
The directorial override is right there, in the control. How do we
The more
get
I
there?
move, that's what I'm saying. The more I move, the less it does it. It's a new. fucking light fractals are just like part of the game now. The game's already, I don't know, kind of interdimensional or whatever the fuck. It's all part of the game, man.
What's down that way?
You're putting straight in the wall. But you know he's there. In the exact same position.
Well done. You got the job. It's place for congratulations. It means it happened in the last drop. I drove need an assistant.
Funny thing is, I've been a janitor. I'm more at home in that role than as the director. Only Ahti here seems to see that.
Yeah, hi, Ahti. Look, we need to get the lockdown lifted, otherwise I can't get to the other sectors. Can you help me get to the override?
Yes,
I'm hoping the AI will like fix the light
just around
bullshit every time.
Very small couple of hours job.
Something tells me it's gonna be more than
I do probably need to restart the game.
There's a doctor reading this. I can tell you I'm not the yesterday's process. That's why you will make a great assistant. Very well. I'll hit the facts of the day. Nämä ovat suoraan. This house has a burning problem. The bad one. They've already messed up the cooling pumps. And the power generators of power plant. And the ventilator inside. He's starting to put the background in his head right. The situation needs to be fixed. But the plant blows up. And we all disappear like a fart in Sahan.
trying my best to keep up with this. Fix the coolant pumps and the power generators, otherwise the power plant will blow.
But don't you worry. I've left you clear instructions. You catch the end of the thread before I go to my vacation. The words in the task board here. And you name when you have done.
Vacation?
Yes, no one's gonna cancel my holiday or seems gonna threaten. But don't worry at all. You'll take care of it and soon this crisis gonna be last winter's fight. You better go now, so you don't have to run with your head as your third leg. The door in the back leads to the plant.
The door in the back. That's great. Thank you.
Get it from the janitor.
Yep, no interference.
Okay, so what happens again if that thing blows up?
Power. Explosion. Too much. Director's duty. Keep the lights on.
maintenance. Oh wait, the whole area is maintenance, isn't it? Training. Oh, this is pretty. What is that? This place is fucked up. Blackrock processing. I feel like this game was just made by the CIA or something.
safe room.
I love HRAs. We're on the same side.
My name is Jesse Faden. I'm here to perform a directorial override to get the lockdown lifted.
Yeah, Chief Arish, FBC Security. I'm just... Hang on, Director. It's a pleasure, ma'am.
Let's skip the formalities, please.
Right. Faden, ma'am. Look, as you can probably tell, it's a bit of a shit show down here. We've been holding our ground, but whatever's gotten into our buddies has wrecked the coolant pumps and the power converters. The NSC keeps overheating. My crews keep getting shot for
NSC?
Sorry. Bureau jargon. It's what we call the power plant. The metal thing. Salvador, head of security, asked me to protect it in case of an attack. What's inside is dangerous. Dr. Garland's even moved to the apartment.
Garland? He's here?
No, he came down a few days ago, before everything went to hell. Out of it, he was a barman. Ranting about vulnerabilities and how we only had one large-scale HRA and that he needed it somewhere else. Still, at least he gave us the personal HRA before he left. Did I mention that he was a package photo? Listen, I love playing 20 questions as much as the next guy, but we have got to get the water and electrical system repaired before the course. I'll have my guys come up before that.
I'll take care of it. You stay and keep the hiss away from the plant.
Hiss? Are they calling him? Listen, the radio's not working, so if you find my boss Salvador out there, please ask him what my name is. I'm sure he can have one by now.
I'll keep an eye on it.
Sure has a lot of faith in your boss.
Try to stay loud.
When the converters and coolant pumps are working again, we should be able to get this baby back down to a safe temperature. I hope.
What do you know about the hiss?
Not much, only what I've seen. Well, they use the same tactics that Marshall and Salvador taught us to trick people with that hiss, having completely erased the people inside. Learned everything I know from Salvador. Best security agent in this world.
And you like your job?
Love it. You know, everyone thinks that maintenance is the lowest rung on the ladder just because we put pipes and writing memos. I gotta be honest, these are the greatest people I've ever interviewed. Probably work with them.
I've done a few jobs with these kind of folks. They say what they mean. I like that.
What exactly is the power?
I only know what Salvador told me, but I know it generates all the electricity for the Bureau, and it's got two very simple rules. One, keep it below a certain temperature. Rule 2, don't ever open it. Oh, and 3, it's classified, so I shouldn't ask.
Sounds like secrets are standard operating procedure around here.
Oh, yeah, it's all part of the job.
What do you know about the service?
Not much. I think it's director only. Salvador told me about the time he saw Trench use it. Sounds like that gun can do some serious damage. Yeah, I did see pictures of it once, though, and it's different than your character. You modeled or something? It's new.
Is new a good thing?
In circumstances, I'd say new is our best bet.
I should be going.
Right. You got a lot to have to lift.
The game, like the longer I play with the AI running, to clear up the light anomalies. Say that, and then I come across the. Once I looked up the light, it fixed it. I was gonna fix Maybe by next time I play, it'll be fixed. Sometimes the AI will just fix it by the next time I play. Seriously, the other me a lot, damn. on the second floor? There's other rooms. I just now saw it on the map. They're like dark. I don't know why I didn't notice that until now. It's retarded. Other rooms that I can go to. call tonight, though. I'll figure it out another time. I appreciate everybody that stopped by. If you liked tonight's video, please like. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and follow. We will probably be on either tomorrow or Friday. Have a great night.